If you are experiencing what I like to call frantic energy, that feeling of like going, 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 but not feeling fulfilled, or even feeling like you can get to end of the day and like feel good about what you did, that you were busy, but it wasn't fulfilling, or even busy, but not your priorities. It's not the things that you wanted to do. We don't need better time management. We need to get clarity here about what matters and what matters to you. And let's talk today about why this is happening and what we can do about it.
Hi, I'm Jessica Jackson, and this is the new way to thrive in motherhood by leaning into who you are, what you love, your unique family situation, and personal mission to create a life that you actually want to live. I want to invite you to join me in saying no to the life of the exhausted supermom, burnout, victim thinking, being pulled in so many directions, suffering through survival mode, or being lost in motherhood, and say yes to building strong families and moving forward on our greatest goals in order to create a fulfilling life that we are excited to wake up to each day and become a soaring mother. This is the Thriving in Motherhood podcast.
So, as I've been working through the 5-step path from surviving to thriving, this time around with having our 5th baby while homeschooling our children, our baby now is about 3.5 months old. And so we kind of went out of that like deep survival that happens when you have a newborn. And now we're working our way through that reentry process of like, oh yeah, we have bathrooms that need cleaning, and oh yeah, we've got kids' bedrooms that need cleaning, and that really needs to be my focus and priority right now. That's what I'm trying to work on. But a lot of us, and I've talked with you guys for years about this, but a lot of us get stuck going from surviving, reentry, normalizing, and fully normalizing in that phase. And so we kind of get stuck in this loop of survival, reentry, normalizing, and just kind of spinning wheels. And I realized that in the midst of this reentry spot, there is a trap that is really easy to fall into because we're super vulnerable for 2 reasons. Our first vulnerability comes in that we're starting to get a bit of energy. Okay, you're getting and thought process back, right? Like leaving that total like deep survival period of end of pregnancy newborn phase. It's kind of like, oh yeah, that's right, I used to have thoughts, I used to think these things, I had these ideas, and they're starting like it's almost like you're waking up to them in reentry. And so there's this element of like hope, like very optimistic hope that you can get all of this stuff done that's on your mind, in your heart, and it's exciting. But at the same time, there's also the stuff that has to happen that's in front of you. It's the bathrooms that do need to be cleaned. It's the constant feeding of people that maybe you had found, like for us, we found other ways to feed our family simply. So we're trying to shift back into, more from scratch cooking as opposed to just buying the loaves of bread, or, really catching up, not just like putting laundry through the laundry room, but like sweeping the laundry room, or not just, like cleaning the bathroom, these things that just, you got to dig yourself out, especially when you're coming out of, pregnancy, postpartum, like reentry is hard. And so because of all that has to be done, that's not very fun. There's a lot of uncomfortable feelings that come with that. And especially as you're doing it like us, when you're homeschooling, when you are the leader of it all, and to be honest, still not sleeping very much, right? So your brain's waking up, you're starting to get the ideas, you're starting to have this high level of hope, and there's also a high level of things that are not that fun that have to happen that do feel overwhelming. And so you kind of have these uncomfortable emotions as well as missed expectations, to be honest, that can cause us to want to escape and go into easy escape options, which for a lot of us is the internet, right? Like you head online, you go to YouTube, you go to Instagram, you start scrolling, and it's really easy, so easy in that period of time to say, well, you know what? I'm here for inspiration. I'm getting ideas. I have to declutter. I'm getting ideas about decluttering. Or I need to figure out how to organize. I'm getting ideas about organizing, right? It's so easy. And our brains, like when you watch that video, it feels really good. Like it feels so good to watch a decluttering video because you get a dopamine hit. You're like, cool, I did something. But when you hop off the screen, you like look around and you're like, well, I didn't really declutter. But even worse than that, this is where the real trap comes in, okay? So we've got this reality of we're hopeful, we want to get stuff done. Also, things don't feel good, so let's emotionally escape online. And you see a great thumbnail on YouTube, like I did this week, of 17 changes I made for a greener, cleaner kitchen or something like that. You know what? I have been wanting to make out swaps in my kitchen for them to be green and clean, right? That is something I value. So I clicked on the video. And then I thought, you know what? Today is the day for me to figure out how to cook with the cast iron pan lid that I have. You know, I've got a cast iron Dutch oven I've been using for years for baking bread. And I bought it strategically so that I could use the top part as a cast iron skillet. But I never figured out. I tried it one time. I didn't have the pan seasoned right. I didn't know how to clean it correctly. It was just like a massive mess. So then I kind of ignored it. And then, you know, I'm still using it for baking bread though. And it's starting to get a little bit rusty on the top of this lid. So totally fine for baking bread in, but not super great for cooking in. So now it's like I saw this video and now I'm going to go figure this out. Well, I messed it up. I didn't do it correctly. I still don't have that problem solved. But then I start thinking, you know what? Wood cutting boards are not good. I have all this scrap wood in my garage. I could start repurposing the scrap hardwood that I have into cutting boards. So we get rid of our plastic cutting boards in the kitchen. Okay? Now here's the problem. Do I actually want to be doing these things? Yeah, of course I do. However, bathrooms, still not clean. Bedrooms still need to be reset. I never went through reentry, right? And it's like this hope and excitement and like, my brain's awake. These are good ideas mixed with the discomfort of feeling stressed about all these things. So, okay, I'm reflecting on my week and seeing, and this is just one example, okay? I went down rabbit holes this week, good intentioned, but not my priority. And as I was reflecting this week in the planner, there's a question of like what went well this week that you want to keep going and what didn't go well this week in the Thriving in Motherhood planner. And so thinking about what didn't go well as I was reflecting, the phrase came to mind like blown about by every wind of doctrine. And I was like, I've got to find this. Where did I find the scripture? So I was close. It is in Ephesians 4 here. And he talks about, it's a letter that Paul is writing. And the way that he describes it is that henceforth we be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Okay. Now, do I think every content creator on the internet is lying in wait to deceive? And is everything we teach doctrine? No, it is not. But I realized that was also, here I am on YouTube talking to you, right? So I'm really not trying to do that. But what I realized was that was what I was feeling about, that I was being blown about by every idea. Okay? And it's so easy to do and it's exhausting. It creates this frantic energy being blown about by every idea. So as I kept reading here, I'm in verse 22, that ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Is this a slight sidestep from what Paul was writing about? Yes. Yes, definitely. But for me, I realized we need to pull off that drive, that desire to seek dopamine hits. Okay. And a few verses up, it talks about being past feeling. And I was like, that really describes living on dopamine. Like you stop feeling your emotions. You stop being aware of what's going on around you. You stop, like you just are hitting, seeking the next dopamine hit, right? And that's not how I want to be living my life, to be perfectly honest with you. But easy in reentry, it's an easy trap. So instead, we need to do two things here. Start by turning off, disconnecting, right? Turning off, putting away the old man, the old ways, completely disconnect. And stop letting the online world hijack our attention. Even if they're good, no one's even technically trying to cause you harm. Well, some people might be, but the cleaning videos and replacing your kitchen stuff, like that's great content. That's very helpful. And at the right time in my life, I will go back to that and I will apply those principles. But it's not what I need to be doing right now. And it's not going to decrease my stress, my overwhelm, my priorities right now, and instead seek renewing of the mind. And you know how that happens? Honestly, truly, it's the quiet time in the morning. When we talk about reentry, we talk about resetting your house. We also talk about starting again, taking care of yourself. That soul pillar. Mind, body, soul, relationship with God, spirit, right? And so this renewing of mind is going to happen daily. It's going to happen in quiet, whether it's in the shower, while you're washing dishes, if you're so lucky, while you're journaling, reading scriptures in the morning. And it's in that moment of creating that space to talk with God, to listen to Him, that He can help direct and help you chart your own path for the day, to be able to figure out what matters to you, to be able to figure out how to face what's coming. So I like doing this daily, but also it's really important to zoom out a little bit and do it on a bigger level, because really what we're lacking is clarity. And the way that I like to seek that clarity about what matters to me is by creating my vision for the year. So now I do that in the Thriving in Motherhood Planner. If you already have a planning system you love, you can just get the Create Your Vision workbook, which is part of the planner, but pulled out separately, so that you can go through that process of asking yourself questions, figuring out those things that matter to you, to figure out what areas you want to shore up in your life, what needs attention right now, and what you can just let go for a season or two. And with that vision, you now have clarity. When we really feel like we are surviving, when we lack two things, okay? You're either, when I talk to mom, they're either one of these four categories. You're either bored, busy but not fulfilled, or bummed because there's things that you want to do that you can't get to, or you're living in alignment where you are actually spending your time and energy on the things that matter to you. And the way that you work that out is through clarity and action. So if you have clarity, you might be bummed because you're not getting the things that you want to, but at least you have a vision of what you want to do. Or if you don't have clarity, that's where you're bored, or you're busy but you're not fulfilled. You're running around, frantic energy, blown about by every wind, by every idea. Okay? So step one is get your clarity. Do that by creating your vision. I've got loads of episodes on it, but also you can get the Thriving in Motherhood Planner or the Create Your Vision workbook that comes with a mini course. And I coach you through this entire process that I've been doing since 2016. It's incredible and it's life-changing and it's powerful. And it is the step number one. You need to get that clarity. And then step two, how do we take that clarity and the second access, take action? That's a whole nother conversation. So I want to invite you to watch the Plan a Week You Can Win workshop, and it shows you how to take these ideas, this vision, and then make it a reality 1 week at a time. You can get access to that in the link below. Thank you for joining me this week, and I hope to talk with you again next week.
Where you are planted, watch the blossoms grow.